Hey, folks, welcome back to Tommy Highway TV, home with the Common Sense Network. I, as always, am your host, Tommy Highway. This is a special live edition, folks. This is actually a follow up on the election. I know that a lot of us are really going through a lot of hell right now over this. I know I've been losing a lot of sleep, that kind of thing. When we're actually hearing the stories rolling in about all the voter fraud that's going on, and a lot of these are actually substantiated claims at this point. It's shocking that an American would actually, I don't know, tamper with an election for whatever their reasons are at this point. I believe a penalty like that should warrant death, personally. That's my opinion. Now, folks, I just want to introduce my panel this evening. I've got, as with me, as always, my main man, Tim from UFO Man channel. And I've got also Harold, a dear friend of mine. We used to work at Microsoft together. He's on with us as well. So, gentlemen, if you'd like to say hello.
Hello, everyone.
What's up, guys?
Okay. Hello, Renee, and thank you for coming, dear, as always. All right. So right now, what we're going to just kind of go through is we're going to go through where we think we're at, because nobody really knows for sure at this point. The only thing we do know is that every single vote that they seem to find seems to point to Joe Biden. I've heard of stories of entire counties in I think, Wisconsin, voting for Joe Biden. I mean, an entire county voting for one person, no votes for Trump. I mean, come on. What am I, an idiot? I don't think so. Anybody have anything on that?
Not just Wisconsin. They said in California or in Nevada, they had a homeless shelter in Los Angeles fill out a bunch of ballots and turn them in Nevada for the vote for Biden.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
How about you, Harold? What have you heard?
Basically the same thing. All these votes coming in are just for one person, and not the other. It's kind of amazing that all the votes being counted are none of them are going to the one side. They're all going to the other side.
Right. Folks, I wanted to introduce another panelist, a dear friend of ours in the channel. It's Thomas Fessler. He's on right now with us. Thomas, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Yeah, 24,000 ballots turned up like that, and I believe it's in Pennsylvania, where all of a sudden you just saw the vote counts go, and they skyrocketed straight up with Biden and nothing else going for Trump. Like you're saying, that many votes showing up at one time with not one vote for Trump. And what are they hiding? What are they trying? Why are they keeping the poll watchers out who are supposed to be there to keep the integrity of the election going, but they don't want to let people in? The only time you hide people, the only time you keep people away is when you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing and you don't want people to see it.
That's right.
Right, exactly. I was going to say, in regards to that jump, right, it happened between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning.
Yep.
This is after the night of the election, which makes the votes, from what I understand, not valid because they're after the night of the election.
Right.
So they're beyond the date. They're beyond the 3rd, and they're turning around. And there is a famous clip that's been circulating Facebook right now that shows a poll worker in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah. Filling out the ballots.
Sitting at a table and filling out fake ballots and backdating them. Yep.
Unbelievable. I mean, hang them. Absolutely hang that person. Make sure that they're dead. Look. If we can't trust our electoral process at this point, when your democracy gets there, what's next? What's the next step? I believe it to be warfare.
Yeah, but we've already have the left, Antifa, rioting, for 160 nights in a row in Portland and everything. And, after the election, the mayor who won again basically came and said, okay, guys, you can stop, rioting now. Trump's out. And they're like, no, we're keeping going. We hate America.
Right.
And this is the movement that's going along and tagging along with BLM and all this Marxist movement across America. They literally hate it.
Right. It's Marxism. You're absolutely correct. I mean, that's exactly what this is. And it's all going to be fun and games until, and like that Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, he's just one kid and he pulled his rifle out and started shooting people. Now, look, this is going to happen on a larger scale. This is going to get big. And these Antifa punks, they're going to shit their pants when somebody like me's coming after them, because I'm not going to fuck around with them. I mean, it's over at that point. At this point, I almost want the police to walk away. I almost want them to leave the job at this point, because I'll tell you, we're in a position now where we're going to have to get some things straight. And I think it's going to have to be politics by other means, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, the good police are. Well, go ahead, Tim.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Thomas.
Yeah, the police are in that position where they are starting to back off. They are starting to let things go on because they've been so freaking, pulled back from the ability of what they can go ahead and do, like in Seattle, like in Portland, what they're not allowed to go ahead and pull people in on, what the district attorneys aren't even prosecuting people for the crimes they're doing. So it's kind of like, what's their purpose if they're going to go and stop these people from doing it? But if the people who are, in the legal system from, the Democrats who are going and just letting everybody go.
There was a police officer in California just a couple of days ago that there was a guy in a Walmart, a shoplifter with a baseball bat. They tased him. He wouldn't drop it or whatever. They finally shot the guy. He ended up dying. The police officer is now, even though the guy had a bat, he's now charged with involuntary manslaughter. Imagine going to work every day thinking if you have to do your job, if you have to protect yourself, defend your own life, that you could end up facing criminal charges. That's why we're seeing record numbers of police all across the country retiring right now, and no one's stepping up to take their place. Have fun, ladies. Have fun, American female.
If they want them to be non-lethal. I mean, there's stuff we can get out there and spray on the ground and it's glue and no one's going to freaking move and they're going to be stuck. Take the same kind of non-lethal stuff we created for war and start using it within our cities. But if you want to do that, you got to equip the police with something to deal with the crime and deal with assaults on them, because otherwise they have no choice.
Right, exactly.
You got someone who's coming at you and chasing you with a knife. You keep on running away and running back from the guy. Eventually, when the guy's going to come close, you're going to freaking take him out, and you're not going to, hit him in a spot to where he's going to maybe, still come at you and try and kill you. They're at war. They're at war, in our streets, and
Well, let me respond to Jax in the chat. Jax, you want to come on the panel, brother? If you want to come on, man, you're more than welcome. We can kick you the link right now.
The link is above. All he has to do is scroll up.
Okay. But the reason we don't, this is the reason that we don't have a popular vote in this country. Because if we did that, then the major population centers, in their opinion, would actually dominate every single election. So you'd have New York and California calling every single election, so the people in the flyover states might as well not even vote. The reason that we have the Electoral College is that it breaks the vote down to counties. We don't actually vote by state. We vote by county in this country.
Yeah.
That way, everybody's vote counts exactly the same for their area. And that's why if you didn't do it that way, then there's the flyover countries might as well not even vote.
Right.
A brilliant system.
It's the foundation of our election system. It's just, with all the technology and all the stuff we can do to censor people and keep people from talking the truth and about what's going on. Why can't we have a voting system that's just legit and it just works everywhere? It seems like a kind of a simple problem with just a bunch of idiots in Washington don't want to solve.
Why can't we have voter ID and mandate that?
Easy.
So that when you go in, you show ID to verify who you are when you vote. Right. Because that will eliminate people.
Here's the thing. Okay, they keep saying, well, it'll disenfranchise people that can't go get identification. Okay, well, let me ask you this. What do you suppose the percentage of those people that are so disenfranchised or whatever that they can't go get a driver's license or whatever, they can't go get a picture ID? How many of those folks do you figure are on some form of public assistance? 95%? 98%? So they're getting They're getting a government check. So it's very simple.
You're already in the system.
You just send them a very simple letter in the mail saying, listen, you need to show up at this office at this date with a fucking ID so we can identify that you're actually alive and the person receiving the benefits. So you cut a bunch of fraud out doing that. And while you're here with your ID, by the way, here's your voter registration form. Now, you can either fill it out here and we can drop it in this box, or you can take it home with you. But either way, initial here, here, and here that you did, in fact, receive a voter registration form. And I'll tell you, when you cut those people's free money off, they will bust their asses to go out there and get themselves an ID. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, but it's got to be a small percentage of the overall public that doesn't have an ID, because most everybody these days.
You would think.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just an excuse. That's just a bullshit Democrat excuse is what it is.
Yeah.
Harold, do we have any numbers or anything, brother? People are asking for updates and stuff.
I mean, nothing's changed. I mean, the Electoral College has been the count has been the same for like 2 days now.
Jackson.
Because they're not giving any states all the way to him yet. So his numbers haven't changed except for when they gave him Wisconsin and Michigan. But Otherwise, it's still sitting at one place to showing 264 to 214. The other one's 253 to 214. So
there's a lot of opinions of what people are trying to say the law and what the Constitution is with regarding to our elections and the sanctity of the vote and the process that's supposed to be involved and everything. Realistically, it's going to come down to it's going to be taken in front of the Supreme Court. And the great news, we have a lot of constitutionalists who follow the letter of the law, not their interpretation of it, like RGB was for their particular cause or what they want. You know, so it's,
right.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
Yeah, looking at the states wise, I mean, Biden's winning Georgia now by 0.1%. Looks like he's winning it by 4,020 votes. And Pennsylvania, and that's with 99% reporting. And Pennsylvania at 98%, he's winning by 0.3% at about 22,000 some votes.
Well, with all the voter fraud, again, that we know has gone on at this point, and that's the stuff that we've got on film and all that. I'm not talking about the things that we can speculate. I'm talking about what we can actually know, what we actually see, what we've heard at this point. You're talking thousands of votes changing here. To me, it blows my mind.
But wait, there's more. You heard about what's going on in Michigan, right? They've got the voting software, and basically all 47 counties in Michigan are using this software. In one location, the votes were off by 6,000 for Trump, and it was a bug in their software. So across all of Michigan, all 47 counties are going to have to go back and re-audit the vote in Michigan to figure out what were the votes that really happened.
Mm-hmm. Right. And did you know that the state of Pennsylvania, I think it was the governor, he predetermined the winner of the election as the election started.
Yeah.
It was the day before the election.
Right. He said that Biden is the winner ahead of time. And now there is a massive movement to have him step down.
Yeah.
Resign.
Well, Biden himself said we've put together the most massive voter fraud organization in history. He said it out of his own mouth.
Yeah.
Was that a faux pas?
And they're being smart about it too. That's why the numbers are so close, because they know if they had it to blowout, that's why Biden's only winning by 4,000 votes in Georgia, and he's only winning by 20,000 in Pennsylvania, because they knew if they made it even bigger than that, it would be more suspicious.
So that huge swing of Trump being out by 15, 20 points in all these different areas was all just a bunch of bullshit to try and disenfranchise voters.
Well, yeah, because when Tommy and I went to bed Tuesday, Trump was up by 701,000 votes in Pennsylvania.
Right.
I woke up and he was only up by like less than 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning, they came up with 600,000 votes out of thin air.
Right.
All for Biden.
All for Biden.
Well, Trump said that night that, don't, what do you call it, start bringing out these votes magically around 4 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, it was between 3:30 and 4:30 the next day.
Yeah.
Every single state that is being accused of voter fraud had these votes appear between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning. There is a video out there showing a man unpacking some black bags on the ground outside a polling center that had nothing but blank ballots in them. I don't know if you saw that or not.
As soon as I heard mail-in voting, I mean that was the door was wide open right there. I mean, obviously they're going to try to take this election by hook or crook. And it's what they're trying to do at this point. I mean, at this point, folks, everybody's listening to the channel, we'll be seeing this broadcast. Listen, I'm proposing a national strike. I'm proposing a national strike at this point. We can't trust our own people. We can't trust our electoral process, and we can't trust our government. What am I missing here? Have I missed anything? I don't think so. So we need to shut this country the fuck down and keep it down. They can't fire all of us.
Yeah, they can't fire all of us, but it's also kind of looking at where we're at, how to get through it in the big picture of things in a way that's going to be a win-win for everybody. And it's just trying to find that money shot or whatever you want to think of, whether it's going to go to the Supreme Court. And that's going to be a big thing to get us there. Having a bunch of people, say, no, I'm not going to do anything until then. People are already hurting hard enough from COVID and not having jobs and other stuff to that extent. So they're grateful for the economy that Trump's, given us at this point, and how we've gotten the country to freaking rebound back like he said he was going to do. Everyone said it's not going to happen, and poof, we're right where we're supposed to be. So it's a matter of, letting the lawyers do their stuff, but also realize we have a whole bunch of dirt. Not just dirt. There's a whole bunch of criminal evidence that's out there right now on Hunter and that magic laptop. Sorry, the F, but it's crazy what we have, and it's crazy to think what we don't know yet out of the stuff that's there. And there is going to be an inquest of what's going on to the swamp, and this is going to really bring on the real draining of the swamp that's going on with all the kids, all the relatives of all the senators, all the different, House representatives, and start really taking a look at how are they using their involvement to pad the money of the people who are around them.
Right. Paranormal Underworld in the chat said, I heard the Supreme Court shot it down.
I think that was Michigan court or something that you may be referring to. They hasn't gotten to the Supreme Court yet. Nothing has.
What do you think about Whitmer in Michigan repealing a judge's court order to allow poll watchers, Republican poll watchers, into the polling centers?
Overstepping her bounds?
I think she'd make an excellent example for what needs to come. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very I'm incredibly unhappy with the American female right now, more so than even normal. And that's just I just am, because I'm real tired of the whole abortion issue and this being an issue. And if you're only voting to kill an innocent life, if that's what you're voting for, then maybe we need to be looking at the 19th Amendment.
Yeah, they don't get it from a spirituality kind of a thing. They don't understand it. They don't see what the life is that's actually there and what they've reduced it to, and just what they call it to go ahead and basically legalize murder. And it's just, there's videos out there that show, the baby, when they go in to do this sometime in the recording, is trying to get away from this shit and fight back. He doesn't want to die. So they try to act like, this thing that's it's lifeless, it's coming out of it. No, it's a human.
Right, it is. And these are the same people that are anti-gun because guns kill.
Right. Paranormal Underworld in the chat said, if you shut down the mail-in votes, how are our soldiers going to vote? Well, I can tell you this. They tried to vote this year. What happened? The majority of military votes were cast out and thrown away or put in ditches or dumpsters. Yeah,
they found a bunch of them. The very people that defend our freedom, defend our right to vote, didn't get to vote.
Validate the vote.
Yeah, that's what they need to do.
Person who voted in the military, that they get a record of their vote, and if they're not, then they know they've been freaking scammed.
They do.
Nancy Pelosi came out and said today. She said today. No, she didn't say it today. She said it a couple of days ago. She said, "Why should American soldiers get to vote? They don't even live here."
That dumb bitch.
Well, that's the Speaker of the House.
It's
crazy Nancy.
It's female leadership in general. I'm just going to say it. It is what it is. You see, it's a lack. I'm sorry, but it's a lack of foresight. Foresight is an instinct, okay? And men have foresight because we were out there hunting and gathering and all the shit that we were doing throughout our species history. All right, and women weren't doing that. Women weren't out there hunting and gathering. They weren't doing that. So they don't have the instinct of foresight, in my opinion. And I think that we see that over and over and over. We can look at major corporations like Yahoo. Okay, Yahoo was second to none as far as internet properties are concerned on the internet. They were second to none. They were huge. So they hired that woman, and you can watch their revenue stream. You can literally, there's websites that will show you how it started going down as soon as she took over. Just like this, going straight down. And because the board of directors was politically correct and she was a female, they were afraid to say anything to her until the company absolutely bottomed out. Now, about this time, Carly Fiorina took over at HP. Yeah. She started, and the same thing started to happen, but the board of directors there saw what happened to Yahoo. They said, screw that shit. We're going to fire her ass. They did, and they hired that Markson guy or whatever his name was, and he had him in the black in a year and a half.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. But look what happened to what company was it? I want to say it was not Facebook, but Google. Google was taken over by a woman recently.
No, YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. YouTube was taken over by a woman, and YouTube's going downhill.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a pattern here, and we can sit here and be politically correct and ignore it and say, "Oh, this is not happening." I'm not going to do that. Not on this channel. This is happening. All right. And Gretchen Whitmer is another example of this.
Yeah, male or female, there's people who can lead, and there's people who can't lead. And is it the problem that people who can't lead or have that, different, they don't have it, but they're in that position because that's where they're at. It's just a representative of their skills of that person, not necessarily just male or female.
Or it's just plain corruption.
Yes, I agree. In regards to like Stacey Whitmer, or look, AOC got reelected. I don't know how that happened. And Ilhan Omar, Minnesota, reelected. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, it's the people who live in her district and that she's able to motivate and connect with and get to support her. That's how she gets it. That's how we got Kama Swant here on, a socialist, communist, onto the city hall for Seattle, onto the city council.
I got to believe that our forefathers, when they were putting all this together, they said, okay, you have to be American born to be a president. Okay, they said that's stated. Okay, but they didn't say that about the members of Congress. And I think the reason they probably didn't do that is because either they forgot about it, which I don't believe, or they thought, who would be stupid enough to allow a foreigner to come in and get elected to office and govern Americans? Who would be dumb enough to do that?
New York people and fucking Minnesotans.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure that they never thought that anybody would be that friggin' dumb, and that's probably why they never, they didn't put it in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except for this Minnesotan. And I gotta tell you, I'm ashamed to live in this state because of the fact that they voted pure blue.
Oh, Washington State is a hell of a lot more blue than Minnesota.
It's pretty blue up there too, that's for sure.
Not by much.
I mean, look what happened in Oregon.
Seattle metro areas where we're getting all the Democrat voters. The rest of the entire freaking state is all red.
Look at what happened in Oregon recently. They legalized, or should say decriminalized, what was it? Cocaine, meth, and mushrooms?
Yes, for possession. However, they also decriminalized the use of psilocybin by prescribed by doctors.
Well, that's okay, but in regards to the other stuff, you're going to have a lot of dead people on the street.
Oh, we've already got, in Seattle, they don't enforce anything for people who are out shooting up on the streets, people with meth or with heroin or whatever. And it's just homeless encampment tents everywhere, and it's just dirty and full of trash, and it's not a pretty sight. But they don't allow the cops to enforce or do anything, and they won't allow them to arrest anyone or issue a ticket for drug possession. So even though it's not decriminalized in the state, Seattle, the whole Seattle metro area is a freaking, free zone.
It's almost like they're harvesting the drugs overseas in foreign countries, in foreign wars, bringing it back, pushing it on the streets, okay, getting people hooked. And in most states, they're prosecuting people who get hooked that have it, except for Seattle, obviously.
Yeah.
In other states, they're prosecuting, putting them in the court system and financing the court system with the drug problem.
Yep.
And they're the ones that created it in the first place.
But every state we go to that wants drug reform and drug reform is on the ballot, it passes.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota has not passed it.
Have they tried yet?
Yeah. They've tried to decriminalize and legalize marijuana.
Right.
They can't get it.
Can they get it for medical?
They got it medical already.
Qualify.
Yeah, it's in Colorado. I mean, you don't even have to have a problem. Just go to a doctor and pay $85 and say, "Hey, give me a red card," and it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I can get a green card, but I have to have in the state of Minnesota, you have to have a diagnosis that will end up in death. It has to be some type of terminal diagnosis.
Oh
So if you have cancer, you can go out and get a green card.
Yeah.
If
Wow.
you're going to die, okay? If you have leukemia, green card.
Yeah.
If you have a mental illness, in some cases, green card, because you can commit suicide.
Yeah.
So it just depends. I probably could get one because I have depression. So
And you have spinal issues.
I want one.
Sativa is a better pain reliever than Tylenol or aspirin.
Yeah, it is. No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's turning away from the war on drugs and more towards let's make our local economies, let's make America better, and rather than shipping it in from everywhere else, grow it in each particular state, process it in that state, and sell it. It's just a win-win because it builds local economies all across, of different levels of producers and shoppers, across the country.
I mean, I've always been one to say, let's go ahead and my family, my father's people, they were marijuana farmers growing up. I mean, I remember as a kid running through the dope fields and stuff, playing hide and seek. So it wasn't like a big deal in Kentucky, but it's like I've always been the opinion of let's go ahead and legalize marijuana, use some of the profit for that to fight other hard drugs that are coming into the country, like cocaine, heroin, things of that nature. That always made sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of money that each state pulls in from taxes on it, it's a windfall for every single state where they do it.
Sure is. The only thing that bothers me about Colorado is that I'm having a hard time finding out where that money goes. And I did try to follow the money one day, and I hit like 4 or 5 dead ends.
Really?
Well, a lot of it goes. I heard a lot of it goes back. They put a lot into the school system there.
Yeah.
There aren't like super high schools going up everywhere and stuff like that, though. And that was the first thing that got me. And you start looking at that money, and it's hard to find. I mean,
it's not building new schools, but like improving the school system that's already there. Though. And then like the homeless population, helping the homeless has been that's what the reports I've seen. I obviously haven't dug into it. But.
Is it a real homeless problem there, or is it a drug problem we have in Seattle?
It's homeless. There's a lot of homeless here.
What percentage of them are on drugs?
Hard to say, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are. There's a lot of them.
I mean, basically, it's kind of almost like the old days in the 20s and 30s with the hobos. People were out there, hopped up on grain alcohol and different stuff, and they didn't work, and they didn't want to work, and they just kind of followed on the train lines, hung around the big cities, and they had encampments where they lived, which is kind of almost like what we have right now. But now we've got the source of that thing that's going on with all these people is just the hard drugs, and we gotta, keep the fentanyl and just the heroin and all that stuff off our freaking streets. And
look at Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit is a cesspool of drugs. And
Chicago turned into Chicago, a hell of a lot worse.
Chicago.
Be bad. Yeah. Now, Detroit is significantly better than the crap in the Windy City every day.
6 years ago, I had my nephew overdose and die right in front of his father and myself.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And it was horrific. It was bad. It was just a real bad situation. So I mean, heroin dealers, I'm for taking them out and shooting them. You get caught. Oh, you're dealing heroin. Guess what? Last thing they should hear is your pistol cocking behind their head.
I'll share a secret with you, Tommy. If you have someone that you held dear in your life and they're no longer with you, and if you have something that person had and something they held and it had their energy, their resonance and stuff on it again, consider it like a calling card. And it's something you want to pick up, you want to hold, you want to connect with, because that energy from that person is still part of it. Don't ask how this shit works. I don't understand it, but it's there and the stuff is real. And you can use this. Think about the person. Bring them into your mind, clear your mind of everything, and just concentrate on that. And just, if you get things that kind of come into you and different stuff, take it to heart. Usually when I do different stuff, I'll get like all different kinds of kind of like goosebumps, but it's like energy kind of signatures that kind of hit different parts of my body depending on the different person. But there's something about people, there's something about this planet, there's something about the energy that's left over from us when we're here, when we move along, that's still with us all the time. We just don't a lot of people just don't realize that it's there. Sorry, if you wanted to connect, there's a way.
Right on. Okay, so we don't have really any significant updates on the on the election at this point. Unfortunately, folks, we're all still in limbo, just like you are. We're all still waiting here. We're all still watching the screwing that Donald Trump is taking, in my opinion. The fact that every one of these new votes that are coming up are for Joe Biden. I mean, come on. Even if you're a Democrat, give me a break. Do we have a democracy or do we not? I mean, would you rather have Donald Trump for another 4 years, or would you rather have a civil war? Because that's what this is building up to. It's the second that we realize that we cannot trust our electoral process, we have to change. It's politics by other means at that point, which is warfare. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Luke, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Hi, Nikki.
You ever guys hear of someone by the name of young Pharaoh? He's a black guy, but he's rather straight and to the point. He's a Trump supporter, and he's got some a video from YouTube. If you want, I could share it here. And it's a quick clip, and I'll go ahead and basically we can react to it and everything. But he's just talking about all the kind of shit that's happening in Detroit right now.
He uses a lot of F-bombs.
He uses a lot of F-bombs if he's on YouTube. So, but
Fuck that.
Yeah, no fucking way.
Go ahead.
all right, here we go.
I don't fucking care.
Fuck it.
Fucking yeah.
Let's see, go there. All right, can you guys see it?
Yep, let me pull it up. All right.
Do you have audio?
Do y'all know them? Who the fuck is them? Who are? Come on, man, cut it out. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Now, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it pushing. Bang. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's more. Wait, there's more. There's more. So that was grimy ass Cali. Now we're on our way to Michigan. Now we're on our way to grimy ass Michigan. Look at this. This from Breitbart. Detroit absentee ballot counting chaos. Block windows and observers. These motherfuckers is blocking the windows so you can't see what they doing with the ballots. And they can't say they not blocking the windows because not only do I got photographic evidence, bitch, I went and got video evidence. Look at this nigga blocking the windows.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look. This nigga blocking the windows. What the fuck is going on? And look at these traitors. Yes, traitors.
Yeah.
Talking about law enforcement, 1, 2, and 3. The 3 fucking stooges. Traitors. Traitors. Because if you really was upholding your oath, you would have went over there and told them to take that shit down. But you over there, we know, listen, everybody better let it be known where they stand. I don't give a fuck who you are. Sheriff, local law enforcement, federal, bitch, whose side is you on?
Right. Thank you.
Right. Exactly.
Is you on the side of our Constitution, or are you on the side of communist China?
There we
Let's
go.
be serious here. Because we know Joe Biden was made in China. We know that already. We need to know. Are the police here for the people, or are y'all here for the evil? We need to know. We need to motherfucking know. Ain't no more games.
Mm-hmm.
No more games. No more games. No more motherfucking games. Who you here for? Let it be known. Cause I need a tally of how many motherfuckers might need their motherfucking head bust. Might. I'm saying might. Because
So what do you guys think?
I absolutely agree with him. 100%.
I agree with them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I saw stuff and I thought it was the perfect thing to share for the show and just for us to talk about and everything, because he just really is straight and to the point. He's got language with him. It's just kind of funny as shit. But he's really calling out the stuff that's going on where we're getting screwed in Detroit. We're getting screwed in all these different, Democratic strongholds. And he's even pointing out there's even freaking cops there who are watching and letting this stuff go on and knowingly letting the laws just be freaking trounced on because someone wants to do it their way versus doing it the legal way.
Right. Doing the democracy, the democratic way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely right. And why not? If they're not letting, like you said earlier, to your point, if they're not letting poll observers in there, if they're not, anybody should be able to go in there. If they're not doing that, that's because they're trying to hide something. Bottom line. I mean, that's how it is.
Right. And if you can't see in fact, I've heard in some locations where they actually let poll watchers in,
Right.
they had them back about 30 to 60 feet and they had to look through binoculars to see what was going on. What are you going to see with a binocular? Nothing.
It's absolutely insane. It's people just need to be hanged for this shit. Bottom
Yeah,
line, it's got to be horrific. That way, it never has to happen again. That's the problem here.
What do those kids think they're doing? The ones that are at the tables that are filling out the fake ballots. What do you think they think they're getting away with?
They don't. Well, they don't know because they're kids. They don't know what they're doing. It's the adults. It's anybody that would do it. I mean, there's no excuse for. I mean, this is fucking with our country. You know, this is bigger than anybody, any one of us. I mean, it's unbelievable, and they continue to do this crap, and they get away with it because they're doing it in Democrat strongholds. Bottom line.
Yep.
I heard in Detroit they actually had a polling center where I think I mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again. When the Republican poll watchers were ushered out of the building, the Democratic pollsters, the people that were doing the counting of the votes, cheered when the Republicans left. So it just tells me that they are stacking the deck with Democratic workers to do the false ballots.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah. Well,
I have to say this on this stream. Joe Biden, you are a fucking coward.
he's a lion. He's a lion, Biden. Anything they ask
A pervert. A crook, a pervert, probably a rapist.
Yeah. Well, there's his daughter has a book coming out now. I just saw a clip on yesterday. And where was that at?
How I got sniffed in Walmart.
I gotta play something to make you guys laugh. Hold on.
Okay.
As pissed off as they are, I shared it with Tommy last night, but it's fucking hilarious. At least I can get it to play. Hold on. Alright, hopefully it plays.
Oh man, the election results. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our 46th president, Joe Biden. Well, that's that. Start boarding up the windows. Wait, what do you mean we got to board up the windows?
George.
You hear that? That's the sound of angry Republicans.
I fucking love that. I've watched that so many times today. Just hearing the music come in. Oh, if we go to war, I want that playing. I'm bringing a Bluetooth speaker and I'm having that fucking play.
I'm trying to find a clip if I can find it.
You see the one video where the lady put in the guy's name that she know died in 1984 and found that his ballot was accepted?
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I got that.
Yeah. She went to the Michigan voter site, put in his name, where you could check to see if your ballot was counted. Put in his name, his date, birth month, birth year, and because he was alive, he was born like 1902, and so he'd be one of the oldest men alive. And it showed that his ballot was accepted and everything. And then she went and looked up the death record, and there, sure enough, he died in 1984 at 82 years old. So
Unreal.
But that's one thing that's been going on forever. Dead people have been voting for a long fucking time. That's been going on for many years.
Absolutely. And it's just a matter of, we've got to put our foot down sometime. We've got to change sometime. And if it's time to drain the swamp for the shit that's going on, and if it's something that, in the time that's left before, hopefully he's going to go ahead and win this damn thing. And, the courts will side with the legal vote, not the wannabe vote, and give us, every valid vote versus every vote they could possibly find in the kitchen sink and go beyond that exceeds laws. We have reasons for laws. We have reasons for limits. We have reasons for time frames. We have reasons for these we have processes that go into this that are there to be expected. And, they're just trying to take our democracy, what we have of it, and just throw it away to get whatever they can get out of it.
While they're poisoning our children and calling us racist at the same time.
Yeah.
I guess on the plus side, at least we got the Senate pretty much locked up.
Yes,
Okay.
they still left.
As of right now, it's 46 to 48, and you need 51.
Aren't there?
So
Right. Okay.
they got
Yeah.
the House though. The House is 212 to 194, so they're gonna keep
We'll,
that.
we'll see what happens to those vote counts, though.
Yeah, right. Those will change too dramatically.
Yeah.
They'll find 5 votes.
I have a clip I want to play.
Okay, go ahead.
Here we go. I don't know if it has any sound, but it's definitely a good clip. This one here. This shows the voter polling station where they're actually filling out the ballots and backdating them.
There you go.
Little bastard right there should be taken out and hanged. You don't even want to know what I think should happen to his mother.
And she's handing him the ballot. See, he just backdated it.
Now, are these for ones? Now, they said the reason for this was because certain ballots in the machines had gotten jammed or something, so they had to recreate the ballots. Is that legal?
No.
No, it's not.
Remember the hanging Chad thing?
Mhm.
There you go.
Voter fraud right there. It's all over the place.
Bingo. You can't do that.
Nope.
There's not a law that says once a ballot is done and it's been cast by a person, you have to basically go ahead and use it. And if you can't use it for what it is, you can't create a replacement.
No, it has to be discarded.
When Nikki voted, hers got fucked up. It didn't take the votes for the judges, and they said you can either refill it out yourself or just take it as it is. So she just took it as it is because it counted the other votes. It just didn't pick up the judges. It said. So, but she had the choice to do it, but no one else is supposed to be able to touch that ballot.
Right.
Because there's no guarantee that person. Yeah, there's no guarantee that person's going to do exactly the same thing you did.
I think those two kids right there need to have their ass arrested and thrown into a goddamn prison, and get the truth sweated out of them because they're kids and they'll break easy, and that's what needs to happen.
Yes. Agreed.
So what's the law? What's the law if this thing goes into where they can't officially announce Biden as the winner?
Nancy
before Nancy Pelosi is in charge, right?
Yeah, Speaker of the House.
So what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, marches going on right now in Seattle, Phoenix, Denver, New York, and Brentwood, California.
What, protests?
Protests, yep.
Mm-hmm.
People marching in a bunch of locations, otherwise just people, all kind of gathering and stuff. That's in Phoenix, we're all gathering. They're marching in freaking Brentwood.
For what? Like, what are they marching for? That their candidate won?
They want Trump to resign.
You should show people how to.
For what? He hasn't done shit.
Hey, Jamie, how you doing, buddy?
Let me show you something here.
That's fucked up. Resign. Y'all motherfuckers are this close to getting what you wanted, and you still can't fucking just. Jesus Christ.
Rifles need to come out.
Right now,
This is basically you go on YouTube, and the way you're able to go ahead and find it is to basically go and search just for protest. After you search for protest, you go to filter and you change it to live, and from there you can find a bunch of different streams from different people who are out there and kind of seeing what's going on with all the protests across the United States. It's a good way to keep your fingerprint on what's really happening in America. What are we, how are the people reacting? I mean, I've been watching these things go on for the last 160 days plus. It started with China last year initially, and protests in Hong Kong before that all got shut down. But it's a way to see all the news and video of all the things that are going on in America that aren't happening, sorry about that you can't see anywhere else. I forgot I had the audio on. The news isn't going to cover most of this stuff. You're not going to read about it in the newspaper. It's not going to be really in many people's Facebook posts, but at least it gives you a way to kind of see what's happening. And then if there's a feed that you like, you can go ahead and if you use Twitch or YouTube, you can find the individual channels of the streamers who are also on there, thing.
So ironically, there's 3 states that are left to decide the Senate, and Alaska does pretty well, but of course it's really close in Georgia and it's really close in North Carolina.
And how do we
Which
know
one
those
they need?
numbers are legit?
How do we
What's
know
We don't know.
coverage is legit?
How do we know those numbers are legit? The ones that are really close in Georgia.
Yeah, they're probably not. That's the thing. We don't know.
I mean, like in Georgia, the election to take the Senate is about 2.1% the difference, and then in North Carolina, it's about 2.1%. I still find it funny that Alaska still only has about 50% reporting. I mean,
Well, that's
he's not going to lose that state. I mean, that's 62%. Although
the
we said that
tundra.
about fucking Michigan and Wisconsin and Georgia and North Carolina when we went to fucking bed Tuesday, and look what the fuck happened. So who knows? If they could change Alaska, then I give up because they're at 62.3 to 32% right now for the president.
I heard a Georgia woman today come on and do like a personal video, and she said, in Georgia, we are predominantly Republican. So to see Joe Biden take the state of Georgia is impossible.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, look at the county breakdown. I mean, I'd say a good 90% or so of the state is red, but then you've got these little Savannah County or Chatham County, which is Savannah, Georgia. Yeah, you got Atlanta. That whole Atlanta is DeKalb County, and then every county surrounding Atlanta is blue. And then you got Athens, Georgia is blue. Macon, Georgia is blue, and then Augusta and the surrounding counties around it. But and if you look at the same thing, if you look at Michigan, I mean, 90% of the fucking state is fucking red.
Right. But one thing you're seeing in all those states, they're asking why does Biden have so many more votes than Democrat senators in the swing states?
Yeah.
Why? There's that, is it that many people who are Republicans are, switching their vote for Biden, but then voting the rest of the ticket?
They're
Like,
disenfranchised.
Like, Wisconsin's the same way.
Yeah.
Red. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Madison is 75% Biden. That doesn't surprise me. But you got Milwaukee and Racine. All the major cities are all, except for like Oshkosh and Green Bay, are blue. But I mean, it's like the breakdown. Just
Jameis said in the chat that I've made up my mind. From here on out, I'm going to volunteer to be a poll worker. Oh, absolutely. That's a great idea. I think that I will too. Absolutely.
I will too. But before I do it, I'm going to get a gun.
Yeah. Protect yourselves.
Well, I mean, I don't leave the house without being armed myself, but
speaking of which, I found out Nikki's certificate's good for 2 years, so she can still get it registered.
Oh, good. All right. Well, listen, gentlemen, the truth of the matter is I only get 2 hours of sleep here before I got to go to work. Yeah. So I'm going to probably kind of taper it off here if you guys are all right with that.
That's
fine.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you very much, folks. Obviously, this is a big shit sandwich here, and they're trying to make us eat it. And that's just the way it is. I mean, like we were talking earlier, we've seen county after county where Joe Biden got all the votes in the county and Donald Trump didn't get one vote. We know that that's not mathematically possible because we're intelligent human beings, okay? That's what they're trying to bullshit us here. And I'm telling you, this is going to come down to either we're going to take this as a people, all right, and then but if we decide to accept this, then we accept the fact that we can never trust our electoral process again. We are no longer a democracy. Or we can step up, we can fight back, we can have national strikes, things of that nature, and we can do something about it. So that's up to us.
Referencing the movie The Help, I'm not going to eat the damn pie. I don't care how good it looks or how great you say that it is. Keep it to yourself. We're not going to accept the damn pie.
Exactly. That's right.
Referencing Judas Priest, you got another thing coming.
Yeah.
Right on. Harold, you got any last words, brother?
Not at all, man.
All right. Okay, folks. Well, thank you very much for coming out. I really appreciate it. We all appreciate it. And, we'll probably get back together here in another day or two. As soon as we hear something definite, we'll definitely get back on here and we'll inform you of that. Okay.
Absolutely. Enjoy.
Folks, thanks for coming out again, folks, and have a great one.
Peace.
Good night.